Okay guys, this is video 3 and we are going to talk about food or your way of eating. How do I choose what my way of eating is? And I'm going to cover a couple of things, but I want to make this as simple as possible, and then we'll explain where to find the details and documents that you need. So you have 3 choices: paleo, keto, and carnivore. If you are already a client, you've been a client for a while, you've taken some of the nutrition classes, you've heard my videos on what the differences are, you can literally choose any one that you want. If you've been eating one way and you want to try another way, by all means, this is a great time to do that. If you fluctuate back and forth or you rotate through the different eating styles, that's fine too, but pick one to stick to for this 90 days. So for example, my maintenance is paleo. When I need to fix my insulin resistance, which is a big issue for me, I eat low carb. And so lots of times I live in a semi-state of keto. So I eat a low carb, clean paleo diet as my mainstay. And when I have a flare up of an autoimmune condition, or my inflammation is high, or I'm trying to tweak something, then I eat carnivore. My body responds really, really favorably to carnivore. The only issue with it that I tend to have for myself is that on a normal day when I'm not thinking about vegetables, I gravitate toward meat. But whenever I'm focused on not eating vegetables, I tend to eat more of them. Weird, I know, but I think the more we fixate on something, the more we kind of obsess about it. And so I'll do really great carnivore for a while, and then I will be like, gotta have veggies. And so I'll come out of it and I'll eat more of a keto style paleo. So what I chose for this 90 days for me is to eat a clean keto, modified based on my DNA, which I'll explain in a second. And this goes back hand in hand to a question that was asked in the group about what if your DNA says blah, blah, blah. So I'll get to that. So if you are an existing client, if you've tried different things, choose what you will. If you are an existing client and all you've ever done is paleo, you might want to give keto or carnivore a try. It's for a specified period of time. Like I said before, you can do anything for 90 days. It's nothing. And it might help you figure out why you're not reaching your goals by tweaking something a little bit. I always tell people what works nutritionally works until it doesn't. And then it's time to change. As your body adapts to what you're doing, you have to make little changes in order to stay relevant. That's why we change your nutrition every 90 days. It has to stay relevant with where your body is at that moment. Otherwise, what's the point? So if you are thinking about doing something different, talk to your Bedrock Nutrition mentor and figure out where you need to go. Now, I do recommend, if you're taking one of the classes, that should be your way of eating. If you're trying something new, you should also take the class. Do the class hand in hand with the 90-day roadmap so that you have the education on the why and the support on the how at the same time, okay? It's really important that you understand why each of these things works, when they work, how they work, who they work for, and how to modify them to your unique needs and your lifestyle. And that's what those classes are all about, because I guarantee you, if you're online looking up keto recipes, those are not ketogenic recipes. They're dirty keto, or what I call bastardized keto. They are not healthy. I did a video on going through the grocery store and pulling out things where the label said paleo, keto, low carb, and something else, and showing the ingredients and how none of them are paleo, keto, ancestral. They're not even remotely healthy. It's label paint. A lot of these companies and experts are promoting things that have nothing to do with health. It only has to do with lining their pockets. And so it's really important that you understand how to discern what you need, what you should be doing, and how to do that properly. Keto does not mean using xylitol and erythritol and all of these sugar substitutes. It means avoiding sugar and avoiding carbohydrates to a specific end goal. It also doesn't mean adding a ton of fat. It means having the right amount of protein and the right amount of fat based on your body and your needs. More fat if there's a brain issue, if there's Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, dementia, a traumatic brain injury. Less fat if you're trying to lose weight. So throwing a bunch of fat at an already fat body is not going to help it lose fat. Having adequate protein is going to help you build muscle, increase your metabolism, and burn fat faster. So learning how to do things the right way is why we have the classes. Use them. Once you pay for one class, you have access to that class for the rest of your life, over and over and over again. You have access to the playlist. You have access to the support groups. I do recommend taking all 3 classes so that you understand more about nutrition than any doctor or nutritionist you will ever come in contact with. It is your responsibility to be the expert on you. No one else's. You cannot go to a doctor and ask them for advice. You cannot go to a nutritionist and ask them for advice. You cannot go anywhere and ask someone else for advice on what you should do for you. It is your responsibility to take control of your health and your life and know your body better than anyone else in the world instead of trusting the opinions of others. That is what Bedrock Nutrition is all about. Teaching you to be the person in charge of you, to understand why and how, and to be more educated on the subject of you than anyone in the world. Everything has a solution based in your behavior, your diet, your lifestyle, your choices, your stress management. There is not one disease in the world that you cannot cure by yourself if you know how, and that's what we're here to teach. We're here to teach you how to be the healthiest version of you possible, to get optimal health. And it's entirely possible, but you have to take responsibility for it. It's up to you. No one else can do it for you. No one else can learn it for you, and no one else can take the actions necessary for you to have the results. So, if you're taking a class, that's your way of eating. If you choose a way of eating, take the class that coordinates with that way of eating. Okay, all the classes are 12 weeks long. All the classes are $49, and all the classes are go at your own pace. You get all the videos. So if you wanted to finish 12 weeks of videos in 4 days, you can. It's totally up to you. If you spread it out, again, that's totally up to you. But no one can watch the videos and do the homework except you. Okay, moving on. What about my DNA? If you have your DNA report, you're going to use your DNA report to help you figure out what the best form of eating is for you. So you have a couple of different options. If you're looking at your DNA report, you're going to go to page 6, which shows you dietary fats and carbohydrates. If you're looking at your review, your Bedrock review, you're going to go to this series of pages where it says dietary carbohydrates and fats. Okay. So if you have a low sensitivity to carbohydrates, regardless of your fat sensitivity, you are going to use the paleo version, unless you have a chronic illness that you are trying to improve. You have chronic pain, in which case you may decide that you want to be more restrictive in terms of some of the plant toxins and move to the carnivore code. The carnivore code is not inherently low carb. I want you to understand that. There are some fruits and some vegetables and honey that we incorporate into the carnivore code. So the carnivore code is not necessarily low carb. It can be low carb. It doesn't have to be low carb. So if you do not have a carbohydrate sensitivity, you can do paleo or you can do carnivore. Those are your two options. If you have a medium sensitivity to carbohydrates, then what I would say is you could do paleo, keto, or carnivore, but we're going to focus on keeping your carbohydrate load within the range of about 50 to 75 grams, net grams per day. Whereas a strict keto is going to be under 30, a therapeutic keto is going to be as close to 0 as possible. Definitely under 25. Sometimes with keto, I'll have somebody go between 30 and 50, especially if we're working with hormone issues. So we will personalize some of that if you do choose that. And we talk about personalizing the carbohydrate load in the class, the Keto Master Class, which is Nutrition 201. So Nutrition 101 is the Paleo Total Transformation. It's the basics about ancestral health. Why no grains? Why no legumes? Why no dairy? Nutrition 201 is the Keto Masterclass. What keto is, the 15 biggest mistakes people make, insulin resistance, fasting, talking about how much and what types of fats, discussing dairy more in depth, and talking about some of the things that we tend to eat more of when you follow keto recipes online, like nuts and seeds, dairy, fats, and how that can implode a good program if you're not eating for your needs. That's Nutrition 201, the Keto Masterclass. Nutrition 301, the Carnivore Code, is about the 9 types of plant toxins that are found in all plants, which people have sensitivities to, why people have sensitivities to some and not all, why some people will react differently to different plant toxins, how to know what your triggers are, and dealing with chronic disease, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, autoimmune disease, those types of things. Okay, so that should help you to decide, where your focus is going to be. Any and all of them are going to help you lose weight. Some faster than others. So I always tell people, paleo is like putting your toe in the water. It's great if you have a hard time transitioning, if you're eating a standard American diet and you really don't know where to start, if you are concerned about being too restrictive, then paleo is the place to start. If you really want to lose weight, if you have a metabolic disease like diabetes, high triglycerides, you have high blood pressure, you have hormone issues like polycystic ovarian syndrome or estrogen dominance, you have any kind of mental health, anxiety, depression, you have a traumatic brain injury, epilepsy, cancer, then absolutely keto is the place for you to start. If you really want to have the most results possible in the shortest period of time, start with carnivore and then reintroduce and figure out what's best for you. Carnivore is going to be the most restrictive, but you're going to get the most results the fastest, period. It's also the easiest because you have a very short list of what's appropriate and what's not toxic. Personally, I love it. Like I said, I rotate in and out. It's not designed to be a lifestyle thing. It's designed to get you to a particular point where you figure out which things you're never going to eat again. I learned by doing carnivore that I will never eat foods high in oxalates. I will never be a spinach, kale, broccoli, potato girl. Those things are literally poison to me. And I learned that the hard way because I went the other way. I went paleo and then I went keto, and I ate a lot of those low carb green leafy vegetables that were high in oxalic acid, which caused me a tremendous amount of joint pain, and I went to carnivore and fixed it all. So now I know exactly which things I should never have. And that's the goal, is to figure out what your life is going to be like permanently based on what your body tells you it wants and needs. Every choice you make is about your body, not about your brain. I don't care what your brain tells you. Your brain is a liar. Your heart knows best, and you always want to follow your gut. But what you think you want, what you like, is irrelevant. What you need is where we're going. Learning how to feed your body what it needs so that you feel your best is going to taste great, be easy, and be the most rewarding and fulfilling thing you've ever done in your entire life. And it feels great to figure that out, to be in control of that, to be powerful because you understand that. It's liberating, freeing, and enjoyable. There is nothing that's not enjoyable about this process. The food is going to taste the best food is ever tasted in your entire life because you're eating things rich in nutrients, rich in flavor, and you're going to stop being poisoned by these hyper flavored, hyper sweetened, overly synthetic foods that you have become adapted to at the taste bud level, but that are starving and harming your body every day. I think this is the most wonderful thing anybody could do for themselves. And it's why I get so excited about it, and why I hope that your excitement level matches mine, because I can't think of any better gift that you could give yourself and your family than you taking care of you. Okay? If you have a high carbohydrate sensitivity, then your choices are going to be keto or a low carb carnivore. Okay? If you look at the fat section and you have a high sensitivity to fats, you can literally do any keto, carnivore, or paleo, but you're going to make sure to not add extra fat. And you're going to get rid of plant fats. So you're going to get rid of the things like olive oil and avocado oil and coconut oil that are healthy fats, but have are monounsaturated fatty acids versus saturated fats. That fat gene that we're looking at isn't necessarily to all fats. We know that all people become inflamed from PUFAs, polyunsaturated fatty acids. Everyone, your body is adapted to saturated fat, animal fats, bacon grease, lard, duck fat, butter, ghee, tallow, high omega-3 rich fats. That's actually what your body is adapted to. Some people do really well with plant fats, like clean olive oils, which that's a whole nother discussion, avocado oil, coconut oil. Whereas other people don't. Other people become more inflamed from those plant fats. And so that's actually what we're looking at there. So whether your fat sensitivity is high, medium, or low, we can adapt paleo, keto, and carnivore to meet that sensitivity need. If you have a low sensitivity to fats, you just don't have to be as conscientious about your fat intake. However, we're still going to look at where you store fat and how you and how your body exercises to reduce fat. And then we're going to look at what the most, and we're going to look at your inflammation marker, because that's going to tell us too whether or not certain fats are, you're going to have more of an inflammatory response to. Okay. So that's how you use the DNA to kind of figure out what you want. Once you